Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's practice. For today's practice, we'll be doing a Hatha Yoga class, and we're going to be using a chair. So if you have a chair or a stool, a bench, you could potentially use a coffee table, something that feels sturdy, then I would encourage you to bring that to your mat. We're going to use the chair today as a way to change some of the angles that we'll be creating with our body. For some exercises, it'll give us a little bit more facility to maybe explore a form in a different way. It can make some postures feel a little bit less challenging, so it'll give you perhaps a better sense of stability and balance. It can help you feel a little bit more grounded. It's also an opportunity for us just to play with our body and the shapes that it can create with using some of the things that we have in our home to do that. So again, it's not so much about creating the perfect yoga form in the traditional way, but more as a practice of becoming present and mindful in our body and how it's moving, and just noticing how it feels when we stretch or when we reach or when we strengthen in some different ways that we may not be doing in our day-to-day routine. So for today's class, again, you'll want to have a chair, perhaps, or a stool. If you have a yoga mat, that's great as well, because then you can place the chair on the mat and that will reduce the slipping that might occur. You also have an option perhaps to arrange yourself so that the chair can be butting up against a wall or a couch or some other objects that you don't have to worry about it sliding away from you as we practice and as we apply pressure into the chair. So let's start this morning with some pranayama, and we'll do that seated. Because I have the chair, I'm going to practice the pranayama and the awareness intention setting seated, but if you would like to come to the floor and practice seated on the floor, that's fine as well. So if you're sitting on the floor, crossing your legs perhaps, or sitting on a cushion or a bolster, maybe sitting with your legs folded beneath you, whatever position you choose to assume, find a position where you feel supported and stable, but another position, another form where it allows your spine to feel lengthened. So you have a sense of alertness. So for me in the chair, it means that I'm not going to sit up against the back of the chair. So I would be sitting away from the back of the chair just to encourage a little bit more activity and engagement through the back part of my body, which will help me remain present and prevent me from getting sleepy or disconnected. So as you find your position, you might also choose to lay down. If that feels right for you, then please feel free to do that. But whatever form you choose, let's take a moment to center ourselves and acknowledge that we are coming to our mats to practice today, to explore our bodies and to start to have a conversation with our bodies in different movement forms and different movement patterns. So as you're ready, allowing the shoulders to relax away from the ears, perhaps allowing the hands to rest in your lap or maybe on your thighs. Just take a moment to notice how your body is resting on the surface that's supporting you. Maybe noticing if you need to take a sip of water or if there's something that you can do to help you feel even 10% more relaxed. And if it's available to you today, if it feels right for you today, you might choose to close your eyes. And if that does not feel right, or you just don't want to do that, then just allowing the eyes to soften, perhaps casting the gaze downwards, just so that you're not looking at anything in particular, but simply allowing the body and the eyes a moment of quiet relaxation. So in the start of class, maybe acknowledging the busyness of the mind, if that's the case for you. Noticing how it feels to be here physically in your body. Are there parts of the body that are sore or rigid or expansive and relaxed? Noticing how you're feeling in your heart, whether you feel lethargic or excited, perhaps peaceful or agitated, whatever is present, just simply noticing that. And then releasing the awareness of the heart, the mind, and the body, and just bringing attention now to the breath. Noticing your inhalations and exhalations. Allowing yourself to move into a natural, relaxed breath, perhaps noticing that the breath perhaps is lengthening. Noticing any sensations that occur with this awareness of breath. And then moving into the Dirga breath, so the 3-part breath or the yogic breath. So as you begin to inhale, thinking about, if possible, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Of course, if that's not possible, breathing in whatever way feels right for you. And if at any time you start to feel anxious, just releasing the practice and just coming to whatever feels most natural for you for your breathing. But let's start to visualize, as we inhale, the breath moving into the very bottom of the lungs, which will create a sensation of the belly expanding. And then as it fills through the middle of the lungs, feeling the rib cage expand. And then finally, near the top of the breath, feeling perhaps a slight elevation under the collarbones as the top of the lungs fill with air. And then as you exhale, visualizing now the breath moving from out of the upper cavity of the lungs and then emptying through the middle section of the lungs. And then finally, watching the breath or feeling the breath move out of the lower section of the lungs. And at the end of the exhale, creating that gentle abdominal contraction to make a little snipping sound to forcefully expel the last little bit of air, making a little snipping sound. And then inhaling again, that 3-part breath. And then exhaling. Don't forget the little abdominal contraction at the end. Inhaling. And then exhaling. Just continuing with this. Now, as you continue with this Dirga breath, it might feel natural for you to start balancing your inhalations with your exhalations so that it takes as many counts to inhale as it does to exhale. So just noticing Perhaps starting to play with inhaling and exhaling for a count of 3 or 4 or 5. Seeing if you can balance, always with a little contraction at the end. Whatever tempo or count that you choose, just making sure it feels comfortable for you. You don't feel like you're straining or running out of oxygen. And after this next exhalation, releasing the Dirga breath and just coming back to your natural breath. And maybe just taking a moment to notice the effects of the pranayama on your mind, on your body. And then as you're ready, slowly opening your eyes and rolling the shoulders back. Again, staying connected with the breath, moving slowly, just starting to warm up the body. And then as you feel ready, maybe changing the direction. Just really seeing if you can sit in the sensations of the movement. And then as you're ready, just pausing here, just dropping the chin towards the chest. And bringing the head to center. Dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder. And coming to center. Left ear to left shoulder. And just noticing any areas of tightness or tension. We're going to try to put those movements together. So invitation here is to drop the chin towards the chest and then to roll the head to the right. Roll the head back, chin to chest, bring the head to center. We'll do that again on the other side, chin to chest, roll to the left, and then come to center. Come up. Well, let's try that one more time each side, going as quickly or as slowly as you need. Noticing how the chair beneath you or the floor perhaps beneath you supports you, allows you to maintain length in the spine. creating a nice space of support and allows you to then explore sensations here with this neck movement. And then bring the head to center. All right, an invitation for y'all to come to standing, and we're going to use the chair for our half sun salutes, or a bench, or the edge of your couch. We just want something a little bit higher than blocks. We really want to change some of the angles that we're working with. And if using a chair or a bench or couch, we're going to be using the seat to rest our hands or to rest our feet on. So just orientating it so that you're looking at the seat of the chair. So standing in front of the chair, knowing that you might have to walk away or step back. Let's start by perhaps exploring arms to the sky, and then bending the knees nice and deep. Let's start our fold forward, hinging at the hips, and let's rest our forearms on the chair. Let the head hang. And maybe here in the supported position with forearms on the chair, bending the knees, starting to take the hips side to side. Again, working with the breath. And then coming to stillness, pressing into the arms to create that flat back position. And then bending the knees, tucking the tail and rolling up, hands to the sky. It might feel right for you today to look up, maybe even to take the tiniest bit of a back bend here. And then hands down the midline and arms at your side. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhaling. So again, breathing as feels right for you, really exploring the sensations of the movement, noticing how it feels on the body. Pressing into our elbows, making a little bit of movement side to side. It might even feel good to rock forwards and backwards. Just see what that feels like. Pressing into the arms to extend the spine. Maybe it feels right now to straighten the legs a little bit more. That's going to create a little bit more of a stretching sensation down the back of the legs. And then as we roll up, let's bend the knees, start to tuck the tail under and roll up like a cat, one vertebrae at a time, hands to the sky. Maybe looking up, maybe coming into a little bit more of a back bend. Up to you, doesn't have to be big. And then hands down. Let's try that one more time, inhaling. And let's fold here. Our first pit stop will be forehead or forearms on the chair. Rock side to side. And then if you feel like you want to explore a little bit more, you feel ready to go a little bit deeper, feel free to walk your hands down the legs of the chair towards the floor. You might choose to rest the top of your head on the seat. Just notice how that feels. If you want to go a little bit lower, if that feels right for you, then allowing yourself to fold even deeper, letting the head hang down. You might need to step away from the chair a little bit, give yourself a little bit more space. Just noticing those sensations. And then let's bring the hands onto the chair, pressing into the arms, reaching out through the crown. And let's just stay here for a moment. We're going to take a little baby twist. So let's take that right hand, place it in the center of the chair. Left hand can come on to the left hip. Let's bend the right knee as we turn. Noticing how that feels. Maybe just reaching here. It might feel right. Perhaps if it feels good for you today, you could reach that arm to the sky. See how that feels. And then hand comes down, straightening, coming to center. Let's go the other side. Left hand into the center of the chair. Let's bend the left knee as the right leg straightens. Take the right hand onto the right hip, maybe turning to the right. And then if it feels right, also you can reach that hand way up to the sky. Reaching it long. Hand comes down, come to center, press into your feet, roll it all the way up, hands to the sky. And then hands down through the heart. Let's do a modified sun salutation. We're going to use this chair today in a couple different ways. So the first round here, we'll fold forward. You can take your hands on the chair if that's as far as you want to go, or perhaps you go all the way to the floor, your choice. Hands to the chair, flattening through the spine. We're going to step back into a lunge. So for me, that means I have to move my right foot forward a little bit. I'm going to step my left leg back. So I'm in a supported lunge here. I'm stepping that right leg forward because I want that right knee to stay above the ankle. We don't want it to be pointing too far forward. If it feels right for you, you can even squiggle your foot forward if you're on a chair, and you can use that knee to press into the edge of the chair. That might feel good for you. Pressing in, reaching, pausing here for a moment. And now we're going to step back into our downward facing dog. So with your hands, start to press with the hands, send the hips back. Take that right leg, step it back. We're going to take back, downward dog. Pressing forward. And then let's come forward into our modified plank, hands on the chair. Here. Press back. Downward facing dog. Let's step that right foot forward, back into the lunge here. Now, if you like, you might choose to release your hands, come into a crescent, nice and tall. Hands come down. Step that left foot forward. You might need to adjust your feet and roll all the way up, hands to the sky. And then arms can come down. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Let's reach to the sky. Folding down through midline. I have to step back if I want to fold forward. So there's going to be a little bit of shimmying back and forth with your feet, but that's okay. And then pressing. Half forward fold. Now we're going to step back into that lunge. So the left foot's going to come up a little bit. The right foot's going to go back. Really leaning into the chair for this first lunge. Pressing into the chair with both hands, pressing into the left foot, drawing the shoulder blades back, keeping that rib cage closed down so that you're not jutting your chest forward. You want to feel like you're quite connected through the front of the body and really energizing through that back heel. You're going to get a lovely calf stretch here. Pause for breath. And then as you exhale, let's step back into downward facing dog. So take the left foot back. This is why we want to make sure that our chair is not going to slide anywhere, because I'm putting a lot of pressure in the chair here. We want to make sure it's not going to slide. And then come forward into your plank. And we're going to step that left foot up. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you come into your high crescent. And then hands are going to come down. Readjusting to step forward, roll all the way up, hands to the sky, and then hands down. We're just going to add on to that. Let's inhale, reach. Exhale and fold, maybe to the floor. Hands to thighs, flatten through the spine. Right leg is going to step back. We're in our lunge here. We're gonna do a little bit of work just to start to open up through the back of the left leg. So as the shoulders come down, let's inhale here. Exhale, let's straighten the left leg as we move into a version of pyramid form. Now, this right heel might come down on the floor. It might stay elevated. It totally depends on how open you are through the calf muscle today. But let's come into this pyramid form. You're gonna be feeling some pulling along the back of the left leg, and then inhale, come back into your lunge, and then exhale. So really what's changing here is the flexion and the extension of the knee joint. Inhaling, looking forward, exhaling, inhale to look forward. Feel free to adjust your feet. Exhale, extend. So now we have an option here. You might choose to stay here, or if you want to explore the form a little bit deeper, maybe you come down onto the forearms, hands into prayer. So this is going to be a little bit more intense. Inhaling and exhaling. Pressing into the hands, stepping back into your downward facing dog. Maybe just taking a moment here, notice the difference between the right leg and the left leg, and then coming into plank. Just adding on a little bit here. Let's take this left leg, let's bring it up towards the left elbow, sweep it back. I've got furniture in the way, so it's gonna look a little bit awkward, but do your best. Right elbow, sweep it back, right up the middle. Let's do it one more time. Sweep it back. Left elbow, back. Twisting right elbow or forearm, back. Right up the middle. Take it back. Maybe you open the hip, bend the knee. Place the foot down, shift forward, plank. So you inhale. Now you might choose to stay here in plank, or maybe just allow your hips to drop a little bit as you pull your heart forward. And then press back into your downward dog. Now we're going to take this right foot, we're going to step up. Stay here or inhale, hands to the sky. You might need to take a break. Circle your wrists, it's a lot of pressure on those hands. And go the other way. Arms come down, step forward. Let's go into a full fold here. Maybe I let the forehead rest. And then bend the knees, roll it all the way up. Hands to the sky. Take a moment, take a breath. I'm starting to get a little bit warm, so I'm just gonna remove some layers. All right, let's do the left leg here. So inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale into fold. Pressing in. And now we're gonna take that left leg, we're gonna step back, we're in our lunge, pressing in with the hands. So if you're finding your hands are getting a little bit fatigued, then just go ahead and come up hands onto the thighs. It doesn't have to be as deep, okay? So just pause here. You could also do this with blocks on the floor, but I like to use the chair today just to change it up a little bit, okay? So again, we're gonna go into our pyramid form here. So press into the block, chest is forward as you inhale. Now as you exhale, let's straighten the front leg, folding down. So you're gonna get a bit of a stretch through that right back thigh. Inhale, head forward, shoulders back. Exhale, folding down. Inhale. Exhale. Now you might choose to continue with moving in and out of the form, or maybe you stay here, or maybe you explore bringing the forearms down. I'm a little further away from my chair, so I'm going to squiggle forward to correct. So please feel free to correct. And then just coming down here, pressing in as you allow the head to relax. Palms can come together in Anjali Mudra as you inhale and exhale here. Nice big stretch. Maybe the left heel is touching the floor, maybe it's not. Maybe the right leg is straight, maybe the knee is slightly bent. Just choose what feels best for you today. Then coming back onto your hands, we're gonna press back into our downward facing dog. So let's bend that right knee. Step back, find your down dog. Just notice the difference again, the change, the sensations down the back of the right leg. We're gonna move it a little bit into our little bit of core strengthening here. So let's come forward into plank. Let's bring that right knee to right forearm or elbow. Reach it back. Right knee to left elbow, a little bit of a twist. Reach it back. Up, up, up. And then up the middle. Reach it back. Let's do one more time each side. So let's go right side. Chest is forward, head is forward. Press, extend. Knee to left, really making sure your chair is braced against something. Extend, and then forward. Extend, and then maybe open and bend the knee here. Good. Coming to center, come forward. Now you can come into your plank. Maybe let your hips come down a little bit, draw those shoulder blades back, send the heart forward. So it's like a little baby upward dog. And then press back. Take that right leg, step it forward, pause here. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you come up into your crescent. And then hands come down, stepping forward, adjusting, folding down, pausing, and then rolling all the way up, hands to the sky. Maybe do a little back bend. And then exhale. Hands relaxing at your sides. If it feels right for you to close your eyes, feel free to do that. Just take a moment here to connect. Notice how that feels as you inhale and exhale. Good. See how it feels. See how your hands feel, how your feet feel, the backs of the legs, the feet. And then as you're ready, opening your eyes, and we're gonna move into a couple of standing forms with the chair. So to start, let's take the right foot and place it on top of the chair. And then reach down with your hands, and you're gonna step that left leg back. So we're doing the same lunging action, but now the foot is on the top of the chair. So you might choose to hold on to the back of the chair and then just staying tall here. So getting a little bit of a hip flexor stretch here. The right knee is still above or behind the toes. So we're not gonna have too much of this forward action. We wanna really feel like our weight's in the back or moving back into the back heel. Stay here as you inhale. Stay here as you exhale. Now, if you wanted to, you could work a little bit with extending that right leg. So hands can come down. We can inhale here, exhale and extend. So it's like a little bit of a modified hamstring stretch. Inhale and lift. Exhale and fold. Feel free to play around with your feet to find the right joint position. Everyone's chair or bench is going to be a little bit higher, and make sure you don't put too much weight into the front of the chair because otherwise it's going to tip back. And then exhale. And then inhale. And pause here. Now you're going to take this left foot and you're just going to turn it sideways. And then forearm on the right thigh and extend. So the left foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. And we're just going to come into a modified side angle here. So you're going to get quite a bit of probably stretching or opening through that inner thigh. Stay here as you inhale. Stay here as you exhale. Inhaling again. And exhaling, shoulders away from the ears. Now take this left arm, let's pull it down. It's gonna pull you up into your modified warrior two. You might have to adjust your feet here. Look over that right hand here as you inhale. Exhale, very different than our traditional form. You feel a lot of weight moving into that back left leg. That's okay. Take that left hand down. Inhale, let's reverse this modified. You can look up. That's going to challenge balance, or you can look down. It's going to be a little bit more stable, or you can look straight ahead. Good. Coming back into warrior two. Now we're going to do the modified triangle. So for triangle, you're just going to straighten the right leg as best you can, keeping your toes down. So we don't want to be here. Keep those toes down, maybe even a little bit more of a bend in the knee, and then just reach, reach, reach. So it's a bit of a modification here. You're still going to get that lovely side opening as you inhale and exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's come back up. Bend the knee. Let's do it again. Side angle. Reach the arm and exhale. Inhaling As you exhale, take the arm down. Upper body comes up. Keep that knee bent. It's a lot of work for that left leg. That's okay. Take the breaks as you need. Modify here for reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. Back to warrior two. Extend the leg. Reach. Find your triangle. Keep that foot down. Super. So there's going to be a little bit of a bend in the knee. And then inhale, come up. Start to bend the right knee. Lean forward, find the chair, unhook your back foot. Step back. Downward facing dog. Just noticing the difference. We're going to go to the other side, but I'm just going to spin my chair around so that you can stay, I can stay facing you. Breathing, breathing. Good. And then let's come and walk our feet forward, forward fold. Bend the knees, roll it all the way up, hands to the sky. And then arms down. All right, that little standing series with the left leg. So let's take the left foot. I'm gonna place it on top of the chair, reach down with the hands, and we're gonna just take that right foot back so that you're in your long lunge, okay? So that heel might be down or it might be up, depends on how open you are in the back side of your body. Take your hands to the top of the chair. If you don't have a top of chair, if you're using a bench, then just think of creating as much length as you can. Here as you inhale, and then exhale. Inhaling, and then exhaling. Now let's explore that pyramid. So let's just start to straighten the leg a little bit. That left heel that right heel prior to me might come down, and then inhale, come forward, chest lifts. And then exhale. And then inhale. It's going to feel different than your routine practice because we've got different joint angles, we've got different areas of muscular work than what we would normally experience. So try to let go of any comparison and just experience how the body feels here. Let's try one more. And then come back into that lunge. You can take that right foot, start to turn it out so it's parallel, and walk your hand up onto your thigh. So we're here for our angle pose. So left foot's on the chair, right foot's on the floor. You're pressing the forearm into the left thigh, and then maybe that right arm can come alongside the ear, or maybe it stays on the waist, or maybe it just comes out to the side. So you get to choose here. Inhaling and exhaling, noticing how it feels one side to the other. Let's move into warrior two. So with this right arm, you're gonna reach it up like someone's pulling you up by your arm. And then you're gonna come here, warrior two, looking over the left hand, right hand down on the right thigh, left hand to the sky. Little bit of a balance challenge. Back to warrior two. Let's do side angle again. Feels so good. I'm pretty tight through that left inner thigh, so this feels actually quite nice. Warrior two, reverse. Warrior two. Now we're going to try the triangle. So straighten the leg a little bit more. So you're going to feel more of your weight shifting into your right foot. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Hand can go on the knee gently or on the thigh. And just take that to the sky, maybe gazing towards the sky here, making sure those left foot toes stay on the chair. It's a big ankle stretch, so you might have to bend that knee a little bit more. That will take some of the pressure out. So go ahead and modify that as you feel best. And then let's go warrior two. Side angle. Warrior two. Finding that breath. Reverse. Ooh. Be mindful of the pressure on the chair. Ooh. My right leg is working like crazy. Warrior two, straightening that left leg a little bit. Reaching, reaching, hand comes down into the sky. Looking up if that feels right. And then back to warrior two. So we're gonna transition out of this. So we're gonna start to turn the torso, start to bend the left knee, reach the arms forward, unhook the right heel to spin here, and let's step back into our downward facing dog. So noticing how that feels, that stretch. Good, and then let's come down onto the floor, onto our knees. Doing a little bit of an upper body stretch. Let's take our elbows down on the chair. And then let's sit back with our hips. So we're gonna go into a modified child's form. And then you can take your hands, you can hold them in prayer, take them to your shoulders, but let that chest drop. So you're gonna get a little bit more of a tricep stretch here. We inhale and exhale. Hands come down. And then coming up, we're gonna come onto our seat in front of the chair. So we're gonna do a couple forward folds here. If you need a block underneath your seat, then feel free to do that. I'm gonna take my legs on the outside of the chair and I'm gonna scooch myself forward a little bit. And it's gonna be more of a straddle fold. So if you have to, you can take your legs on the outside of your chair or your bench, or if you're in a coffee table, you can go on the under the coffee table. But just hanging on. And I'm just gonna, so just know that the closer you bring the chair, the more your legs have to straddle. So I'll let you decide how close you want that chair to be. And you might choose to adjust it as we move through the practice. But taking your hands on the chair, shoulders away from the ears, use a little bit of pressure to help extend the spine, press the legs down, flex the feet up, and then use your fingers to help guide you forward here. So we're trying to stay away from this rounded back position. Think of sending the heart forward, hinging at the hip. For some of us, we might choose to rest our forehead down. If you need a little bit more, if you can go a little bit deeper, scoot your chair away and allow yourself to come a little bit further forward. And just pause here as you inhale and exhale. So keep pressing the energy legs down, really strong legs, like you're trying to press the backs of your knees into the floor. If you wanted to, you could even grab underneath the chair or around the chair to help guide a little bit more. And shoulders down the ears. Again, just remember, we're not forcing. We're just trying to explore the body in these different shapes, using the chair as a tool. Inhaling and exhaling. And then after your next exhale, just walking yourself up, helping your legs in towards each other. Come to lie down, and I'd like to encourage that the chair is quite firm, supported and pressed up against something, because you're gonna come to lie down. So the invitation here is to take your feet up on the edge of the chair. We're gonna do some hip bridges from this position. If you don't have a chair, you can do the same thing. You're just gonna have your feet on the floor, okay? So with your feet on the edge of the chair, your knees sort of either in line with the hips or a little further away from the hips. So the knees forward, the hips back, okay? We're just gonna prepare here as you inhale. And then as we start, let's just rock our pelvis back. So we're just gonna flatten our back into the floor, and you're gonna feel how your seat and your tailbone will lift. And then just take that down. Just feel how that feels in your body. Exhaling. Inhaling. So doing that a couple times for yourself. Now you might notice that it starts to feel more and more comfortable, and you might notice that there's a sense of you wanting to actually lift into bridge. If that feels comfortable for you, feel free to do that. So pressing down into the chair, keeling up, pressing those hips up, and then slowly rolling down, starting from behind the heart, one vertebrae at a time. Inhaling, exhaling. And then rolling down. Let's do one more. Inhaling. And then exhaling. And then rolling down. Once you're down, you can take your feet off of the chair. And you could walk away from the chair or the bench for a little bit. So we're just going to go into a lying spinal twist. So invitation here is to take your feet together and then press into the feet to lift your hips a little bit off the floor, and then shift your hips over to the left, and then let the knees come over to the right. You could use your right hand on the top of your left thigh. Your left arm is extended, and maybe you turn the head away. So whatever variation of spine twist feels right for you, then feel free to do that here. Just taking a few breaths as you inhale and exhale. Just letting the body soften as best it can. And again, just noticing sensations. So letting go of the notion that the knees need to be to the floor or the knees need to be stacked. Just find a form that feels good for you in your body. And then just notice the sensations that are present. And then as you're ready to come out of this form, if your head was turned, you can bring it back to center. And we're going to start with the top leg. So for me, that's the left leg. So start to take the left leg down. And you'll find as the left leg opens, it automatically wants to bring the right leg with it. And then just reset yourself in the center. Maybe just take a moment here and see what that feels like. And then we're going to do the other side. So walking the feet together, pressing into the feet, lifting the hips, shifting them to the right, letting the knees go to the left. Maybe you put a bolster under your knees, or maybe you adjust the form so that it's more comfortable for you. I like to place my left hand on the top of my right thigh. And again, I'm letting go of what the expectation that the form looks like. So in my mind, I have this vision of what this form looks like with the knees perfectly lined up and this effortless, peaceful look on my face, and all of my body parts are smooth and in the right position. So let's let go of that. So letting go of that visualization or that image that I have, and instead just noticing any sensations. So noticing any sensations in my rib cage or in my waistline, behind my shoulders. And letting go of the story behind those sensations. So they're not good or bad. They just are what they are. If it feels uncomfortable, or if it feels hurtful, if there's pain, then modify the form. Find a position that you could rest and relax in that is not so sharp and not so loud. And then after your next exhalation, bringing your head to center, starting with that right leg, bring the right leg up, and that's going to want to pull the left leg to center, resort yourself. Just take a moment here and notice what you notice. And now we're going to move into our final form, Shavasana, our deep relaxation. So for this, you might choose to use the chair. It depends on how wide your base is. So if you wanted to use your chair, what you could do is you could bring it forward or scoot yourself down, and you could take your legs to rest on the top of the chair. So in this sort of zigzag form, this might be a really comfortable place. It allows the lower back to be really grounded and connected into the floor. So for many of us, this might feel really good. You might choose to ditch the chair completely and just relax in what is the most comfortable Shavasana form for you. It could be on your back, it could be on your side. I am not going to participate in Shavasana, so I'm going to sit up. So I'll give you a few moments to sort of explore and see what feels right for you. I'm going to come to sit up in my chair, which is also an option if that feels like it's the right choice, and feel free to join me. Otherwise, take a moment to get a blanket around you, or maybe even an eye covering, put on the sweater, and you're just coming to your most relaxed form for our final relaxation. So as you start to settle in, just noticing how the body is feeling now as compared to what it might have been feeling at the start of the practice. And then just allowing the body to settle. So as we move through the Shavasana, I will be offering you some phrases, and I will be speaking as if I was your voice. So if you feel that the phrases resonate with you and you would like to repeat those to yourself, that's lovely. Feel free to do so quietly in your mind if you like, or perhaps out loud if that feels better. If, however, the statements don't resonate with you, feel free to stay focused on the breath or continue to be aware of the sensation of the body in this final rest form. Doesn't matter what you choose. The most important part is you just give yourself a few moments of deep peace and relaxation. So if it feels right, you might choose to close the eyes today or soften the gaze, allowing the body to be completely supported by whatever surface and in whatever form you're resting in and on. And allowing the breath to come to its most natural pattern. I invite my feet to relax. My feet are relaxing. I invite my legs to relax. And my legs are relaxing. I invite my hips, my lower back, and my lower abdomen to relax. My hips, my lower back, and my lower abdomen are relaxing. I invite my middle back, my upper back, and my upper abdomen to relax. My middle back, my upper back, and my upper abdomen are relaxing. I invite my chest, my upper shoulders, and the tops of my shoulders to relax. My upper shoulders, the tops of my shoulders, and my chest are relaxing. I invite my arms and my hands and my fingers to relax. My arms, my hands, and my fingers are relaxing. I invite the muscles of my throat and my neck to relax. And the muscles of my throat and my neck are relaxing. I invite my jaw muscles, the muscles of my face, and my scalp to relax. My jaw muscles, the muscles of my face, and my scalp are relaxing. I invite the sides of my head, the top of my head, and the back of my head to relax. The sides of my head, the top of my head, and the back of my head are relaxing. I invite my entire body to relax. My entire body is relaxing. Starting to bring your awareness back to the room, deepening your inhalations and your exhalations. Thinking about in your mind's eye where you are located in your space. Perhaps trying to remember what clothes you're wearing this morning. And stretching your arms and your legs as if rising from a deep sleep. And then when you're ready, slowly bringing your eyes to the light, blinking them slowly open. And then exactly where you are, taking one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Reconnecting with the breath for just a few more moments here as we inhale and exhale. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May your day move forward in ease. Bringing your hands to Anjali Mudra, bowing your head. Thank you so much for joining me in practice today. Thank you so much for committing to the practice, for taking some time to explore and communicate with your body in a different way. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.